Hi, Daddy. What you doing?
You doing the regatta shuffle right now? Oh, a little scullin' and scoopin'. Some conch style and thing. Well, let's go. Scull with your left foot.
Yo, it's your boy Dyson Knight along with Dr. Kent Bazard and the man
The myth, the legend. I'm here.
JP. Those in the building. And this is the Sup'm Show, Season 2, Episode, cheers. Episode 11.
Drunk bastards.
Pulling back. I don't know what y'all drinking, but
this is fun.
I'm drinking Switch Up with just a splash of Bahamian gin.
This is vodka with a splash of passion fruit juice.
This is
Because I'm feeling passionate on this show.
let's move
I'm a
on.
passionate
So
guy. I'm passionate.
yeah, and it's a good show for being passionate. And if you can hear the
It's a joke, boy.
any noise, I got you, bro. It's okay. You don't have to clear it up. If you have any if you hear any background noises, because I'm also on daddy duty. We got Grammy in the middle holding it down. It's in Dars, we're hanging out. So yeah. Thank
Very
you.
sweet.
I blushing.
Sweet. So passionate.
As a parent, that's what brought up this whole topic. Actually, I don't know if, I mean, of course, it gets very far-reaching when you think about it. But one of my high school friends, he said we were talking about raising our sons, and he was saying, he has a son that's 19, and he has a girlfriend, and he's trying to help him navigate that emotional experience, that first love experience. When it's pure, when I think it's actually so pure that it's the perfect time to settle in. I don't know how y'all feel about getting married young, but looking in 2020 hindsight, because I got married old, I wonder if it would have been wiser to marry young. I mean, y'all fellas going on 20 years. Doc, you on must see what, 18, 16, 17?
20.
Dang, yeah. Ooh-wee. So I
25.
mean, y'all could probably speak to getting married young, because that would be in y'all were like 26, 27 when y'all got married, 28. That's pretty young in today's age.
I guess.
So yeah, but the whole go ahead.
At 19, I was on my third love interest.
Watch yourself now. Watch yourself.
You said this guy at 19 was on his first love interest. At 19, I was on my third. That was the third time I thought I was in love, bro.
Watch yourself now.
Well, I
You know
only guessing.
You know who was around them whole time. So watch yourself.
Don't lie. We don't lie on this show.
No, we don't lie. I mean, that's gentle. That's gentle. I think.
That's the big H one.
But I always
19 was
wondered.
the big H.
Oh, the big. Oh.
Capital H. That's capital H. Oh boy.
That's a serious inside joke. We gonna let that one slide. Continue, Dyson.
Yeah, because I wasn't even there for that one. But let's move on. So the topic is pulling back. And what I mean by that is like how deeply you want to fall in love and commit your time and your energy, your resources to a relationship, to a person, to anything that isn't self-serving. You understand what I'm saying? Like, how do you protect your energy, or should you protect your energy when you in love? Should you protect your energy with certain people that you love? It doesn't only have to be like eros love, but also not Felipe love. When we talk about your children, your parents, your family members, like when is it? But we'll start on relationships, because At 19, I believe my first love was in my last year of high school. So that would have placed me at 17, right? And I didn't have the mindset. I wasn't thinking like, you guys is probably, I wasn't falling. I mean, it was exciting, but I look back at it and say I wasn't in love. I mean, I went off to school and I was checking loan gals. So it wasn't like I was saying I needed to save myself for this
Yeah,
one
but
woman.
that was the main girl.
You know what it is, bro. Here's the thing, right? And I'm gonna touch on relationship first from a man's perspective. When we were coming up, when we were young men, saying about anywhere between the ages say 16 to 21, right? That was probably okay to seek some form of serious relationship back then. The times were different.
Mm,
Times were different.
Yeah.
Um, Men wasn't so much thrown in the garbage can. I mean, it was, but not to the point how it is right now.
that's
So
true.
in today's society, it pretty much has to change a little bit because today's society, in the dating market, that is, men are not seeing as nothing if you don't have something of your own first. Now I'm not saying it wasn't that way back then too, but it wasn't as prevalent as it is today. Because don't forget, we also come from the era where there was no social media.
Yeah.
We came from an era where you had to be face to face to make anything happen. You understand?
Yep.
You call your girl, and if you don't pick up the home phone, you just don't talk to her. If you don't go by her
Yep.
house, or she don't come by
Yep.
yours.
Yep.
Nowadays, if you call someone and they act like they're in home, you log online and see them. My location's over here doing this. So the dynamics of relationship has changed. So in my advice to young men, I feel that they should hold off on all relationships until you get yourself together, get your purpose together. When I say your purpose, whatever it may be that you think you want to do in life first. Because with or without a relationship, you still want to be judged by who you are as a man. Straight like that.
Yeah. I think that's a mouthful. I wish we had a 19-year-old on the show. I wasn't thinking ahead. I should have asked my son to at least talk to him and find out what his views are, what the expectation is.
Hmm.
Because he's had my son has had he's 20 now. He's had his first love, and I think he was all in. Like they were celebrating on a monthly basis, not to put all his business out there, right? But every month they would celebrate. Yeah, and I thought it was a lovely thing to
It's cute.
to yeah. But I think, like you said, one back in the day, it was more. I think it was more acceptance and like expected that you would build together.
The expectations was lower, bro, back then. It was
I wouldn't
lower
say yeah, it was. I mean, yeah, in a sense,
on both
it was.
on both behalves for the male
Yeah,
and the female.
yeah.
Nowadays, it's like people
I
judge their relationship or their life just based off of what they see others doing, and they see others doing stuff based on social media.
yeah, I think I mean not to say expectations per se, maybe expectation. Maybe it's the same thing. But
Hmm.
like a 19-year-old today is probably now expecting you to take her out or isn't like they say, Denny's ain't enough for me at 19. At 19, when I was 19, you took a girl to Denny's. That was a date, man. That was a big date.
Hmm.
That's
Hmm.
what I'm saying. Denny's make plenty money off of me. You know
And
what I
that's when
mean?
Denny's used to serve beer back in the day.
Right.
They don't
Right.
serve beer no more. That's a
Denny's,
fact, yeah.
Denny's before you took the girl. I used to go to Denny's and we used to have dinner, capital D, before we
Yes,
go
sir.
out.
Yes,
Just know
sir.
what I mean? We had dinner, a fork and knife and thing and dessert, right? that's,
All
that's
right.
good. But
High
So
class.
you can't do that now. You can't
No,
do that now.
so
not at
so
all.
so okay. So let's speak before. No, I won't jump to modern times just yet. So let's speak to being all in and not feeling like you needed to guard any of your energy or not wanting to go take the girl to Denny's, which was probably the extent of your budget at the time. Um, you would probably wanted to do something that was a little cheaper, a little chicken unlimited maybe, or where Kentucky Fried Chicken was $3 for a whole snack, right? and you would do that instead of Denny's, which is probably what, 25, $30. Um,
Back then?
yeah,
Back
back
then?
then.
No.
Talking back then.
Cheaper than that. Cheaper than
Wow.
that.
So yeah. So
Hey,
so
but Dyson,
uh
I think on the point you're making here, and this is what I was gonna say, is that at that age, when we were that age, I feel I said this before on a previous show. I feel as if back then, like we were programmed to go all out and all in. I think that was always seen as the thing to do. Like you're supposed to do that. And if you
Yeah.
look at even if you look at the music at the time, that's when Jodeci and Boys to Men and all those guys were extremely popular, right? The
yeah.
the the, the man crying, come and talk to me, you know. You know that song? Come and
Yeah,
talk to
yeah,
me.
of course, man. Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that was the thing. Brian McKnight, and all those dudes. So that was, you know what I'm saying? That was the way we were told we were supposed to be. Supposed to go all out for the girl, and it wasn't a
Right.
problem back then. I mean, it was less
Yeah,
risky
you're
to
not
do
the
it
issue
back then.
there. Hmm.
I think it was less
Yeah.
risky back then.
Mhm.
But so when I hear now about a 19-year-old saying they're going all in, I'm like, well, I don't know,
Yeah.
because
Because
things
they
kind of
trying to take
change a
trips.
little bit.
They trying to take
Huh?
trips these
I
days.
think it's
Like
a
they
bigger
trying to
risk.
take
I think
trips.
it's a bigger risk now. It's a
It's a
way
bigger
bigger
risk.
risk now.
It's a
And,
bigger
I, and,
risk.
and and that's why I tell young men now the same thing that JP just said is develop yourself first.
Yeah,
You
man.
understand what I'm saying? Like you need to be prepared for this not to work. At 19 years old, I don't think it should be all in.
So
I don't.
still speaking to younger adults now, because I want to talk to the older men too in the show. But at what point, from your experiences, I could say from my experiences too, was there like red flags, as they say these days, with signs that you shouldn't?
Back
She's not
then
a
or
Denny's
not?
girl. She's a Chicken Unlimited girl. She ain't no Denny's
Back
girl.
then?
Yeah,
Back then or not?
back then. Like when, what is the sign to say I should probably pull back on how much of myself I'm devoting to this relationship? Like
Salty
which was
I
campers
some.
do not.
outside.
I mean, I could start, Doc, if you don't want to take the blows again. Every time we come to these
Red,
type topics, my boys get
Mr.
thrown in the
Red
bus.
Flag,
Like one,
Mr. Red Flag, Mr.
Hey,
Red
bro.
Flag, right there. You know, hey, back then when I saw red flags, I do this.
Boy, that's why I say go ahead.
but okay. So for me, then let
Honestly,
me start.
honestly though, Dyson,
Go ahead.
back
Mhm.
then, the first red flag was what your friend said. Back then, because back then your friends used to be real, and there
Mm,
wasn't
Yeah,
no social media like JP said, so it wasn't
yeah.
no fronting, no profiling or nothing like that. If one of
Hmm.
my boys say, "Bro, that one is XYZ, she is
She's actually
XYZ," until proven otherwise, and
hmm
that used to be almost 90% accurate. If he said, "Bro, she easy," if he know
oh,
and the other
yeah.
dude know
You
and the
know.
other dude know, most likely
Mhm.
she easy. You understand what I'm saying? So back then you could almost just go on exclusively what your friends say. Secondly, obviously is the first impression. And for me,
Yeah.
it's like, and especially again, back then, a red flag used to be a lot of male friends, right? Now
That's a
today
red
Interesting.
flag
it's a
today
little
too.
different.
That's a red flag today too.
No,
But go ahead.
today's a little different. Today is different because you could have a lot of male friends and half of them could not be straight. So I mean, is a whole is a whole different dynamic today, in my opinion. I don't know. I'm not around today, but a
I'm gonna
red
show you.
flag or
I'm
at
gonna show
least a
you something
sign
right
of
quick.
caution.
Even the gay
Huh?
ones, even the gay ones, grinding the girl.
But it's just to be cautious, and it's not because the girl may be promiscuous. That's not the reason.
Sorry about
That's not the
that. Sorry
reason.
about that. Sorry about that.
It's not the reason for the ladies that are listening. It's not that it's because we're saying the woman is promiscuous. It's because you got 15 other guys who waiting They in the same line you in, right?
Mm.
And they all present and they all have access to her. They all have her attention. You understand what I'm saying? So that's a red flag. Like you got to be prepared to deal with that, because if y'all enter a relationship, guess what? Those guys ain't going nowhere. They can be right there. They can be right there because they are friends.
But here's the thing: is that so much something to worry about from your perspective as a man, or from that's something that she needs to take care of before she gets into something with you?
I agree.
The male friend. I'm asking.
Agreed.
I mean, I know what my answer is already because you got too many. You got one male friend. We ain't dealing. We ain't working. We ain't working. We ain't doing that. So
I
you
mean,
know.
so even with the red,
from school.
no,
That's the
but
truth, bro.
back in the days, if she's sitting
During
in the
during
front seat of
school.
the bus, she up there in the front seat in the bus.
Yeah.
Yeah, movie. All right, so at that point, but at that point when
What the movie rating is, man? What's the rating on that movie?
oh that one rated run. RUN.
American Ecstasy.
So at the point when
What else? What you find that?
when you mature enough to realize and accept that, okay, this isn't the person. How do you feel about, how do you even go about pulling back your energy? Like you, because oftentimes I say, if you're already thinking it, like if you're already in that state of belief, if your friends, like I say, if your friends already saying it and you already see, man, every time I call this girl, she either have to call me back, or she busy, or she whispering on the phone, like a bunch of things. You know this girl probably up to some tricks. And you say, okay, I'm not going to be which we call it back in the day, a gentleman with her anymore. Because there's some girls you put in or relationships you put in this category of, all right, I just juicing this up, or I just this just orange juice. Yeah. This just a run. This ain't no big deal. I don't mind if I take her to Denny's and she order the steak and eggs, I know she better know how to tinkle. Right? So I ain't spending no money on her. I'm gonna get out of it what I put in. I'm not put it in with hopes that we are going to share the rest of our lives together. We could
You know what? I'm a little. You know what? Let me put it in here. Oh, fuck.
I know
Anyway.
you different, man. Tell us how you different.
But back in the day, now we ain't talking about high school days. We talking about like a little bit out of high school, all right?
Yeah.
Back in the day, I was a little different, bro. I always put my cards on the table. You understand what it is? And from then to now, I always used to tell dudes, yeah, I used to even tell Kentos, like, you got to be very careful trying to change a woman into what she's not. You
Go back
understand?
to that cards on the
Because,
table thing, though. What you
yeah,
mean by that?
I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
Okay.
Because here's the thing. When I say, let me get this point out first before I forget. Because I all now, you see. Anyway, what I was saying is that men need to stop making a woman something that she is not. Okay. Now, if she is a lady of relationship, serious relationship, then you accept that. There's a long time saying in the street, you can make a whore into a street wife, but you most definitely can keep them around for fun times. You understand? So if you recognize that a lady is of that type caliber, then just leave her in that type caliber. The problem is you got a lot of men, they try to change her into something that she don't want to be. And when I say put the cards on the table, depending on the lady, you gotta let her know from jump what it is. You can't let her know what it is mid-relationship or at the end of the relationship. You gotta say that from the start of the relationship. So if you just go into this relationship on some, listen, I want you to take me serious. I'm taking you serious. I could date other people. You also could date other people. The problem is with men is they can't lose. They hate to lose, bro. But you can't impose a rule on her that you don't impose on yourself, or the other way around. So if I can see other people, she can see other people too. You understand? So she's just around for one purpose and one purpose only. Stop. Don't. Because man. The longer you stay around the situation, you start to get comfortable, and then you start to get comfortable. You start to make that little man squeeze. Before you know it, you cut the whole team off for one. And then that one member who you on the team permanently wreck your whole life. That's what I mean by the cards on the table. You got to put them cards on the table, bro. And don't lie to these females out here. That's another thing. Don't lie. Don't tell them I love you, blah, just to get some box. Let them know what it is, bro. Because there's gonna be them females that's gonna say nah into that. But then on the other side, it's gonna be like, okay, cool, right or wrong.
You're right.
They gonna say it's okay. Say it's okay. So just throw it on the table, bro, and let it fall off on the floor.
And I think what you said just now is timeless, because we could step right into exactly the way as older men you should be in these situations now as well.
Mhm.
I find that I find that men that have been married, and y'all can speak to this better than I can speak to this because I don't have your tenure. Been married for a very long time
Mm.
would have a certain expectation of equity in the relationship, meaning you've devoted 20 years of your energy into your marriage, your commitment to the person who you with. And after that amount of time, and time is such a flippant way of speaking to everything that you've done to to get to where you are in a relationship, like every challenge you've had to overcome, every mistake you've had to apologize for, every I guess extra mile you take to show and prove your love for the person who you with, like everything you've done, the assistance in helping her build her career, her helping you build your career. So there's a certain amount of equity that you expect in the relationship, um, and a certain amount of I guess faith in you. You expect her knowing the type of person that you are. I'll give you an example, and this is how I kind of tie it into to with children. What something hurt me a few, I think it's about a month or a couple of weeks back with my daughter.
Mm.
She I was supposed to pick her up from work, and I must have been like literally 3, maybe 4 minutes late to get her, and she had already left. And I messaged her, I say, "Hey, I'm here to get you from work. Where are you?" She said, "Oh, I didn't think you were coming." When I got that message, that like ripped my heart straight out my chest. And I'm like, I been your daddy for 19 years. Like, if I say I come in for you, there's no way I ain't coming for you unless I did. I'm not
Right.
just gonna not come for you. And so my expectation in everything I've done to show her how much I love her, how much I've all
Mm.
the energy that I've put into our relationship as her father, I expected that I could be 3 minutes late and her not believe that daddy ain't gonna show up. And like that to me in a broader sense now when it comes to all types of relationships, how you guys relate to a situation like that where you feel as though the person should know who you are, but they're not treating you as if you are the type of man that you know you've proved yourself to be.
Word that again.
How do you
I know why he wants you to say that again. I know why he wants you to say
yeah,
that again. Go ahead.
Yeah, exactly.
okay,
Exactly. This
wait,
might
what I
know me
say? I
so
say
good,
feel it.
guys.
I say feel it.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Say it again.
I'm just wondering, like how
Say it again.
how does a situation like that make you feel, N- understanding that you have devoted and committed a certain character, personality, um, you tried your best to present yourself as this type of man, but the type of treatment you're getting back in return. And it could be in specific situations too, like my picking up my daughter, where you feel as though they don't treat you, the people who are you in a relationship with, regardless of what type of relationship, they don't treat you the way that you feel, I guess, you deserve to be treated, or see you in the way you feel as though you should be seen.
I'm gonna let Ken grab that one.
So let me tell you how that used to make me feel, and then let me tell you about how I respond to that now. Right?
Nice.
So long story short, that used to hurt, right? And I mean, it used to hurt because it made you feel not useful. And I think that's one of the quickest and sharpest things you could do to a man is not make him feel useful. Like take away his purpose, take away his usefulness, his ability to contribute to anything, no matter how insignificant it may be. If you take that away from a man, that is, yeah, especially if it's something that he really liked. And I think a lot of women do that on purpose. They want to, the parting shot. The parting shot is making you feel useless. So when the relationship about to end, it's like you was never nothing anyway. That's why they say that. Because that's a part, that's a knife, that's a dagger. That's almost fighting words when you say that to a man like that, because that's really what we're here for, right? Is to be useful and purposely built for something, right? How I respond to that now, and this is why it's so important to know who you are and establish yourself, because once you've done that, nobody can say that to you anymore. See what I'm saying? Once you've done that, and not to say that you've even perfected what it is that you want to become. You may not even be there yet, but at the very least, you know it's within your reach and you're on your way. If you at least know you in the realm of being on the way to what it is you're supposed to be and what you're supposed to do, and on top of that, you know that you're fulfilling your role and your responsibilities as the man in the relationship, nobody, including the woman in the relationship, can take that away from you. Nobody.
No one.
Nobody can take that away from you. So you have to know when what they're saying to you is maybe trying to get to you, and when they really mean it. I suspect that most of the time they don't mean it. A lot of times they're just trying to get to you by saying something to you, and they're trying to get to you. Right? So that's how I respond. The way I respond now is that you're not going to break me by saying that, because I know what I've done. I know who I am. I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm worth. So that doesn't bother me right now. But back then, crush. Crush. Make you feel like driving off a cliff.
One, you wanted to say something?
To double down on, I was going to say the same thing. That's why I didn't go ahead and grab it. That's why he was laughing before you. I was going to say the same exactly. But here's the thing. Another thing with men, right? Men need to stop letting people determine what a real man is and what a real man ain't. You understand? And 9 times out of 10, you never hear those words, "You ain't a real man," come out of another man's mouth. You hear it sometimes, but you always hear those words come out of a female's mouth. Okay? She doesn't know what it is to be a real man because she's not a man. And like I always say on this show, whenever they start the conversation off on that, it's always beneficial to her what she wants done. Don't ever forget that.
Yeah.
You ain't a man, you ain't a real man if you do this. You ain't a real man, but it's always beneficial to her. Stop letting people determine who you are. Now, another thing now, that rule don't apply to men across the board, because you got a lot of shitty men out there. You understand? And a lot of shitty men out there ain't real men. So that don't apply to them type dudes. Because you got a lot of dudes out there, they feel as if, once you say that applies to all men. No, this applies to a selective group of men that put in the work. They peers know they put in the work. They females know they put in the work. You understand? People around them know they put in the work. Like ain't nobody in this world can tell me Ken is a shitty dude. If you tell me he's a shitty dude, you probably gonna get punched in the face by me. No questions asked. Because I know different. You
Mm,
understand? And I know if you're about to tell me some stuff like that, you either telling me it with malice or you're telling me it to make him seem or look a certain way. So you need to go on somewhere else with that bullshit because I ain't buying it, bro. And my brother, he right. Listen, there's a rule with us right here, bro. Not only me, just the other ones too. The nasty five. Here's a rule. Let me tell you something, Dyson. Niggas can be wrong, 100% wrong.
right.
But we ain't never gonna show you wrong in the eyes of others. We gonna thug and bang that out. Then I'm gonna tell you what a fuck up you are in private.
Hmm.
So we
Hmm.
ain't never exposing the next man in front of nobody because we ain't trying to give the next people no ammo to shoot at nothing.
Right.
Our armor is spotless, bro. We ain't got no chinks in armor until you get
Yeah.
amongst each other. Then there's all
Right.
types of chinks, and that's the way it should be.
That's what I was gonna say. Mainly when real men say man up, is in the
Yeah,
betterment of
it's
the
the
person who you're
betterment.
telling it to. Yeah.
Absolutely, bro.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Man
So
up,
So
like,
so
come on.
so when it comes to pulling back,
mhm,
um, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate if you're in a long term. If you've been in a relationship for a long time. When I say long, I mean what, 2 years or more, 3 years or more. Even worse if you're married, to now have to think about pulling back. That's a serious. To me, that's very serious
Mhm.
mhm,
because what we always say about marriage, 50-50 is 100-100, right?
mhm,
There's no
mhm,
50-50. So
mhm.
100-100 means both parties are giving 100%. So if you have to pull back, that means somebody ain't giving 100%.
Yep.
Somebody that means you feel as if the other partner, I hate to say feel, but it is your observation that
Yeah.
the other partner,
Better.
the other part, the other partner is not giving you that 100%. Now, hopefully, you can have a discussion about that and
Mm,
be able to point those things out like a man logically should be able to and say, listen, I feel like I feel again. This is
Feel,
the case.
boy.
This is the yeah, that's Dyson starter, man.
I think. I
Say
think. I think. Don't say feel.
this
I
is the
think.
this is
observe is a good word.
this is what I see. This is what I
Ah,
see. I see I see I see if I go out, there's a whole big ray rah rah. And then every other Friday you have date night with the girls. So what's up with that? Yeah, like we gotta if you can't sit down and have a discussion about that and get back to 100, you got a serious problem. And I don't even think there should be like pulling back because pulling back turns into tit for tat.
yes.
So she's going out with her girls now. Guess what? Okay, I'm gonna go out with my boys.
Oh my boys.
And
Right.
and it turns into a high school relationship at that point. You know what I mean? You might as well call it quits because a marriage ain't supposed to operate like that, right? That's like high school kid relationship type vibe stuff. So
Yep.
you have to be careful. I understand you have to protect. And I just said this to a group of persons I spoke to on Friday, right? You should not have to come home from your stressful job and meet more stress at home than you have on your job.
Mm,
You
mhm,
know, I
mhm.
made the analogy to Star Trek. Y'all know I'm a big Trekkie. I'm a big Star Trek fan. When you at work, it's shields up, photon torpedoes armed, phasers at the ready. When you
Right.
leave work and you coming home, your shields should be down. You should be
Yeah.
disarmed.
Yep.
You understand? You shouldn't have to be armed with shields up when you in your house. And that's man or woman. That's anybody. Everybody's
Yeah.
Put
shields
that
should be
away.
down, and everybody should be cool. Maybe not calm, but everybody should be relaxed. You can have arguments, yeah, but everything should be cool. You understand what I
Yeah.
mean? And so if you're not
Mm,
there, when you start pulling back, now you just chipping at the same armor we was talking about. You're just chipping at the armor. you're chipping at the foundation, and eventually it's going to collapse.
Yep.
Eventually it's going to collapse.
What?
Yep.
You know, so if you feel like you got to pull back, I think you gotta have a real heart to heart talk. And the problem is we keep pulling back bit by bit, pulling back bit by bit until there's hardly anything left. That's be the biggest problem.
And the add on to what Dr. Kent just said, right? And I keep telling men this too. Sometimes, well, all the time, as men, you gotta know when to let go, bro. That's very important. You have to know when to let go, because we as
That was my
men,
problem.
we're programmed as fixers. We want to
I am the
stay.
opposite.
We want to stay on the battleground and just fix things. You understand? Let me tell you something, bro. Certain things you can't fix. Certain things you ain't designed to fix. Certain things you shouldn't want to fix. Because certain things ain't fixable. That's just what it is, bro. Some things you have to let it go and walk away. Because the longer you stay invested in trying to fix a situation, it's going to kill you on the resource side of things. It's going to kill you on the energy side of things. It's just going to kill everything about your purpose. Because we all know women love to derail a good man when you on your purpose, bro. They love to derail you, bro. You ever notice when you really, really, really on your purpose as a single man, something always pop up? Something always pops up to derail you
Yeah.
off of your path, bro. You understand? Because
Yeah.
a man on his purpose cannot be broken, bro. And there's going to be hard times on the road, but as long as you stick to your purpose, you can't be broken, bro. Women love broken men. Believe that. That's why I say when you break up, you can't be broken. If you want to be broken, go cry somewhere in the closet or in the privacy of your own home. Don't cry in front of her. Pull yourself together and get it going.
Yeah.
That's a message. That's a message worth repeating, JP, because that is the reason why a lot of men end up jumping over the bridge. You understand what I'm saying? Or going in the house and shooting up everybody and then shooting themselves. Like we were never, and I keep going back to this point. We weren't programmed, and we're still not programmed by society to let go, right? Especially in terms of relationships. Like you don't hear that message a lot. That's a message you got to get from directly from another man. Like you're not going to get that from music or media or movies. You're not going to get that message. The message you're going to get is make it work, stick it out, fix the problem, whatever, be a man, etc., etc. Like that's the message you're going to get. You
Yeah.
listen to the music. And listen to, whenever I hear the song come on in the gym, I tell them skip the song. You know this song that is talk about. I'm serious. Whenever I hear the song come on, the dude talking about being suicidal. This dude talking about being suicidal because of some girl.
Oh yeah.
You know what
They
song they're
say
talking
it's
about?
over your way too beautiful, girl. That one. That's
No,
why you
not your boy. That's
Oh,
Kingston, right?
yeah, yeah. It's
Flat
Not
Kingston.
Iron.
Kingston. Not Kingston. Not Kingston. One, him too.
Get
Him too.
suicidal in the gym.
No, him too. Him too. Him too. That's a real. But he was being like sarcastic. Is this other girl? Is this other song with this guy that says something about I will. Man, it's a recent song, man, and the music video is like cartoony and it's like it's weird. And he says
I don't know
you
that,
know,
bro.
I'll die for you and all this stuff. And now
That's in your
yeah,
playlist exclusively.
you make a girl. No, it ain't in my playlist, bro. You make a girl. Something he said. You make me wanna be. Anyway, he keeps saying suicidal, and he keeps saying it over and over again.
Right.
And the point I'm making is, remember we was talking about emotional rap that day. That's the
Yeah.
song I was referring to when he was
Oh.
talking about emotion. When he's talking about emotional rap. And
Mm.
I'm like, bro, like I don't never want to hear that song. I don't hear nobody singing that song because that's stupid. You
Yeah.
understand what I'm saying? It's stupid. And why would
No,
you
it's
even
thinking.
allow somebody to sing a song like that and allow it to play? They'll allow that to play on the radio. You understand what I'm saying? But you can't talk
Programming.
about sensible stuff.
Programming.
You know what I mean? So again, media, you gotta be careful. You gotta be careful with the media because media will say a lot of things to you that is unrealistic, and they will make you think that it applies to real life, and it doesn't. It doesn't apply to real life at all. It's total fantasy. And when you try to apply it to your real life and you realize it don't work, you're gonna feel suicidal. You're gonna feel suicidal. When you think that this person that you are a boss, whatever, and you're supposed to be this and you're supposed to be that, and you don't get it, you're gonna feel suicidal. And that's how social media gets you. So when we don't get these things now, the attention, the gifts, the trips, the cars, clothes, jewelry, when we don't get all of these things that we think we should be getting in our relationship, the fame, a whole bunch of fun, going on vacation all the time, being flown out here and there, left and right, then you're going to think you have a reason to pull back and not be in a relationship. And all the time, your concept of this 100% is totally based on fantasy, totally based on what social media shows you. So we really, me personally, I have a personal vendetta against that stuff. So anytime I hear a song like that, skip that garbage. I don't even want to hear it. Simp music, turn it off. And I come in the front and I tell them, simp music, skip that.
Hold on, I gotta ask. So they know what the words, because everybody don't know what the word simp means. They know what the word simp means in the gym?
Everybody don't know. They think simp means buying flowers. No, that's not what simp means.
Hit it again.
So simp means buying flowers. That's what Dyson would be when you walk over the bridge with them rulers then.
That was a long time ago, man. Why you up? We ready in modern times to the show. We had to go back to flipping. We wasn't even in the 2000s yet. Come on, man.
Super Saiyan Bionics.
But I'll say this much: my bouquet wasn't the largest.
So would you walk over the bridge with flowers in your hand, bro? For real? You had flowers in your hand walking over the bridge?
You know what? Shut up.
My boy. Yeah,
Shut up. My bouquet of flowers wasn't a big bouquet. I met a big bouquet of flowers there. I just had I think I had half a dozen. I met like two dozen. I had like 6.
You can't. You walk from like Yamacraw, right?
Shut up. I already okay. Shut up. That's fine.
It's okay, bro.
But you said something a long time. I mean, some minutes back, Warren. You mentioned the word purpose. You mentioned the word purpose, and that's where and for just to say, along with this purpose thing, I agree with Fee. When she said women don't love broken men, I believe that to my heart, and I have had a personal experience with that. Whereas I knew when I was down and out, I knew, and I was too much unsure of who I was as a man, and I saw the respect for me deteriorate.
Yeah, man.
So I believe that is very true. Which is why
that's why it's so important, like what JP said. That's why it's so important to figure out who you are and get on your purpose. That's why it's so important.
Exactly.
It's hard to break you when you're on your purpose and you know who you are.
Listen,
that's powerful.
Let me tell the man something, bro. Listen, to win, you got to lose. In other words, you got to be able to accept your losses, bro.
Yeah.
I tell men all the time, younger men that speak to me, bro, depending on the situation, take the L and move on, bro. Take the loss and move on, bro. You can't win them all. Because sometimes a loss is a win in disguise, bro. Believe me when I tell you that.
Yeah.
I'll say it again. Sometimes a loss is a win in disguise. So we as men, you got to learn to take the loss, bro. You can't win it all. I know we're conditioned that we want to win all the time, and we got to come on top, bro. Sometimes you got to step back, take the loss, to get 4 wins right after the loss. Yeah. Now you want
we don't take that. We don't take that. We don't get that message either. That message.
Yeah. Take the loss. You get 4 wins, bro, and when you get them 4 wins, you're unbreakable. Women love. Listen. Let me give y'all goofy ass simp niggas a tip. Well, goofy sense. Let me tell you something, bro.
Ah, Lord.
Women love women love men like me. You want to know why? Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. Here we go. Because yo,
You gotta get it. You gotta
let me
get
tell
it.
you
You
goofy
gotta
sense
get
why.
with the disclaimer, bro.
Let me tell you goofy sense why,
Go
right?
ahead. Go
Because
ahead.
not only am I a man on my purpose, right? Number one, real talk now. On
Yeah.
my purpose, been married for 25 years with the same woman, got kids by the same woman, no outside kids, all right?
None.
Always on my purpose, bro, all right? Proven that I could lead a relationship according to her. I ain't concerned with it's according to anybody else because I ain't with them. So fuck y'all, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
So keep yourself in shape, in the gym, looking pretty, run your business. I mean, what more could you ask for?
Yeah.
This,
Yeah.
this right
I
here.
sec. I second that.
Strive,
I second that.
strive to be this.
I do
Strive to
agree.
be this.
I wanna add a little add another question on to that answer.
This right, be this right here.
And
Strive.
that is
Uh,
that is the man being about his purpose. How does that reflect on the purpose and the intention of the relationship as a whole? Like how do we share that purpose, that direction for yourself?
Entertainment, y'all. Entertainment, y'all. Come on now, entertainment.
you say
You got
What
it.
is it?
ball
What
hand,
is
Ball
it?
Dave.
and
Johnny
dish.
Baller. Damn right, boy.
Yes.
Listen, girls them love the beige, boy. Laugh my ass off. Just trying to be this.
Yeah,
Straight up, bro.
they wilding on this show today. Yeah, but I'm speaking about the purpose and like the direction of the relationship, because I mean it's difficult. It's not impossible. I think the answer from one would probably be to just muscle through and to disregard, what your significant other is feeling, um
Depends. Depends.
about
Depends.
about about
Depends.
about your leadership, or about your direction, or about your goal, about your dream, about your
Mm-hmm.
vision. I think the relationship itself has to have purpose. It has to have intention. Why are we together is a question that has to maintain a fluid answer. It may be a change. It may change, but it should always flow. You know what I mean? Like it should be like you both have to be goal oriented. I think for it to work, even if her goal is to be the best house wife she could possibly be.
But I'm
Um,
not answering that question. I'm not answering that question right there after 10 years of relationship with the same person. I'm not answering that.
at which
Why? I
point you
said,
answer the question.
no, when you say that, sometimes you gotta, they say like, why are we still together? I'm not answering that, bro.
Mm.
If she doesn't know
No,
why, I'm not
no,
answering
no.
that.
I think he's saying, Dyson, JP. I think he's saying it may change, and if
No,
it
no
if it
doubt.
changes, because situations change. Situations change. I mean, let's be real now. Situations change. I think two people that are
Yeah,
truly
yeah.
in love could get. I think two people that are truly in love could get divorced. So I think
Absolutely.
that could. I think that could happen. So I mean,
Mhm.
life happens. God forbid. But to answer your question, Dyson, like to me, when I saw the topic, I keep asking myself, I keep trying to get an answer to your question, right? They keep trying to answer the question, and I keep coming back to the same thing. If you have to answer this question, you already have a problem. If you have to say that, look, I need to pull back, then somebody there's a whole lot of misleadership, miscommunication, misdirection, miss all type of stuff going on. You understand what I'm
Mhm.
saying? If you're in a relationship, JP said 10 years. I say two or more, bro. If you two or more, if you gotta talk about pulling back, especially if,
Yeah.
let's say a marriage, you've been married for more than 2 years, and you're talking about pulling back, then your selection might not be on point. You're maybe you're not supposed to be together. If you gotta talk about pulling back,
I'd agree
you know
with
what
that
I
too.
mean? If you gotta put your, if you gotta raise your shields, if you gotta come home and raise your shields to your spouse,
Mm-hmm.
bro, something wrong, man.
Yeah,
Something
you need to
wrong.
talk. You need to talk.
So you need to
Hmm.
talk. Are we gonna fix it? It's only one of two things. We're gonna fix this. We're gonna put 100% into it, and we're gonna fix it.
Read
And
that.
then the other,
Read
and
that.
then the
Read
other.
that right there. Read that. Read that.
The
Read
issue is
that.
we don't
Someone read
teach
it out
our
loud.
sons this.
That's the word.
Woman is not supposed to be the purpose creator.
Read that.
And speaking to that, that is the purpose of the
Spark.
show.
Yeah,
Is
Spark.
to say these things because I
yeah.
agree. Like
But,
we
but like I
don't.
say, the message got lost. Message got
Yeah.
lost.
Hmm.
The message got lost. You don't see that message anywhere in media. You don't see that
Hey,
message
and,
Which
anywhere.
which which
and to double down on what Fee said, right? And I challenge any man out there, right? Any relationship where you see a woman leading it, let me know how that end up for that man. Any relationship, let me know how it ends up. It's going to end up in disrespect. It's going to end up in divorce. It's going to end up in him simping out the ass. Pause. Any relationship you see where the female is the leader and the head of the household and she run everything, boy, listen, you are in for chaos. I
yeah.
promise you that. It's not
Hmm.
designed that way.
Yep. Yep. I 100% agree. Um. Boy, that's a lot. I think we said a lot in the show. I can't wait to chop some of this up and post this on our TikTok. Make sure y'all follow Something Show on TikTok,
Just make sure I
Instagram.
look pretty when you post it, all right? Make sure I look pretty.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yo, listen, entertainment. I'm not really like this, all right? I'm actually really sensitive and I'm really, there you go. Oh man, look at him.
Stop in mid sentence. You can't even. You can't even. Stop in mid sentence,
Hey,
man. He couldn't even finish what he was saying when his eyes fell upon himself.
we could just be we could just be a voice in the show. We just
Yeah,
be
they can do
one.
that voice.
We
Just
could
leave his
just we
face up.
could just use
We'll
our
talk.
voice. You don't even
We'll
have to
talk in the
do.
background.
We could
We'll
just
talk in the background.
uh, uh, yeah, but I forget what I was gonna say. Oh, subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can send us an email at the show at gmail.com. Any topics you want us to discuss. We try to approach it from a real man's perspective. And I only put the quotes on it because I know that we try to make up our own versions of what real man means. But we look at the jungle on the Sup'm Show, like what is the natural order of things, and we approach it from that aspect. Ruckus man, the red flags are usually there, but a lot of simping men. Oh, so mesmerized by the pongy cheeks to notice too. Then too scared to lose the pongy cheeks
Lewis, I'm telling you.
And still sharper than that.
and still
Boy,
shafted in the end.
hey,
Boy,
and on top, and check it out, and on top of that ruckus, the real niggas who she interested in ain't got a simp. She gonna give it away for free. Cause she
boy.
actually like him.
Yep, she gave it away to the beige brigade. I can say. But anyway, listen. Thank y'all for tuning into this episode. Pulling back Something Show. We are in season 2, and this is our 11th episode. We are at 6:30 Eastern Standard Time every Sunday. Always a great show, and it's even better when we have you tagging along.
Yeah,
So that's
pray
it.
for this boy, please.
Yeah.
Somebody pray
Oh,
for this guy.
you need to point the other way. You're pointing at Dyson right now. Thank you.
Pray for this guy.
Hey, thank
I'm
you
not
to Hit Music Society. We appreciate you stopping in.
I'm not like this, guys. I'm actually a very calm, cool, and collected guy. I'm full of feelings. I'm super simpy,
I can press this button.
and I